Stacy, and today we have a fun video. We're going to be testing out the new Alien Cosmetics times Serendipity the Artist Strawberry Milkshake palette. Now, right now, this palette is on pre-order for June delivery, and I will say that every palette that I have pre-ordered from Alien, I have had amazing luck with, and this is the second collaboration, as far as I'm aware, between Serendipity and Alien Cosmetics. Now, look at this artwork. Isn't it just precious? Now, this palette retails for $35. There are 9 shades, 4 mattes, 3 shimmers, 1 duochrome, and 1 sequin shadow. I love this color story. When I saw this, I was like, I need this in my life. It does have a 24-month shelf life, and it is cruelty-free. So again, we're gonna start off by swatching, and then we're gonna do an eye look. We're actually gonna do 2 eye looks, so one today, one tomorrow. So the first shade is Whip, which is a matte off-white. Then we have Strawberry Shake, and that is like the pinky lavender duochrome, I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong. Then we have the shade Topping, which is a matte bubblegum pink. The shade Stem, which is a matte lime green. The shade Fresh, which is a metallic or shimmer lemon yellow. The shade Green, which is a matte Kelly green. These are so pretty. I wipe off my fingertips. And if you hear noise outside, they're working on that sign still, so there's not much I can do. Then we have the shade Ripe, which I think this is the sequin shade. It's really pretty. Now, it does say that this palette does cause some staining, especially with the next shade, which is Cherry on Top, which is a metallic or shimmer red. Isn't that really pretty? But yeah, you can see the difference between how Ripe looks compared to Fresh and Cherry on Top. So, and then last but certainly not least is another matte, which is Juicy, which is a matte burgundy. So this is the whole color story. I love it, but I figured since it was 9 shades, we could get away with doing, you know, 2 eye looks, I think would be good. So let's wipe away the swatches on my hand. So I love Alien's formula, so just to kind of give you a heads up, I've used a lot of palettes from them. So I'm gonna start off with the Lunar Beauty LB2. Oh, I need to put my eye tapes on. I'm gonna forget them, y'all. It is the day to forget things. It's been a long freaking day. But you know, it is what it is. And I did prime my eyes with the NARS Smudge Proof Eye Base. There we go. Now, as I said, I'm gonna go into the shade Stem, which is that matte lime green. You can see that on this Lunar Beauty LB2, it picks up really, really well. And I'm going to apply this throughout my entire crease. I love a good green. Y'all know. I love a great green eyeshadow, and I really like this color story. I feel like it's a little unique. Like, I feel like it could be a sister to the Lowest Cosmetics Meet Me in the Underworld, whereas that is a much grungier color story, and this is not. This is definitely more bright, summery. When I saw this, this screamed spring and summer to me. So I am excited to play. Now, my friend Kara over at Beauty and the Frizz has a code that is Frizz Face. I'll try to remember to link her down below, but you can save some money off if you use it. So, and I don't have a code, but I will always, if I have a friend that has a code, I will let you know so you can use it, because why not? So we're just blending that out. That looks really pretty. I love this shade. I love, love, love this shade. I am gonna grab another brush. This is a ColourPop E17, and I'm going to go into the shade Whip, which is the matte off-white, and I'm going to apply that to my brow bone. One, to blend things out. Two, to use as a brow bone highlight, because I think it kind of needs it. Because, well, there's not a real light shimmer to use that what I would want to use as a brow bone highlight. Plus it also just kind of gives it a way to have something for stem to blend into. So I'm just going back over with stem, because I want stem to be more prevalent than whip. There we go. I like that. I like that a whole lot. Okay, so that is pretty. Now I'm gonna grab, this is a Nabla N205, and it's a tiny little blender brush, and we're gonna go into that shade green, which is the deepest green in the palette. And we're going to add some depth to the outside corner and just kind of blend it up into the crease. But we're not bringing that real far in. I'm bringing it about halfway. See, I'm just keeping it very tight in that eye socket. There we go. That's really pretty. So we're gonna do the same thing on this eye. And I know I do a lot of the same shapes, but for my age, you know, the over 35 crowd, sometimes it's hard to mix up shapes. You need to do things that work with, well, one, you got looser skin. Two, you know, working with color and stuff can be difficult as you get older, so it doesn't look silly. I'm going in with that Lunar Beauty LB2, and I'm just going over the edge where I put green, and to make sure she's nice and blended towards the front. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab, this is a Sigma E55. We're gonna take and grab our Too Faced glitter glue. She's almost empty. I think that's kind of why we're almost out of it. So I'm just taking and patting that in all over the lid. There we go. I love the Too Faced glitter glue, but there are, like, I have a lot of other ones I need to use too. So as you can see, like, I've got texture to my eyelids. They're not what they used to be, so this is kind of what makes it easiest. So now I'm gonna go into the shade Ripe, which is that beautiful, beautiful bubblegum pink shimmer. And I am going to slowly start packing that all over my lid. Well, maybe not all over, but for the most part. And we're just going to pack it on there. This definitely is giving me strawberry shortcake vibes. And I'm trying to make sure to keep the line neat, because when you're mixing like pink and green and red and green together, it can get muddy pretty quickly if you're not careful. Just to kind of give you a heads up. So I'm just kind of going over, making sure it's I'm happy like with the placement. And tomorrow I think I'm gonna do more of like a whole pink and red look, because I haven't done one of those in a while, but I did want to play with the greens. And since there's not a green shimmer, I could have used the yellow and made like more of like a monochromatic green yellow look, but I really didn't want to do that either. So as you can see, I'm just slowly packing that in, just like I did on the other side. And even I got my strawberry earrings from Shein. Shein has cute earrings. Okay, so as you can see, I'm keeping that very neat and clean, making sure it's all filled in. There we go. Okay, so I like how that looks. I'm gonna take, this is the Nabla again, we're gonna go into that shade green, and we're going to pat that over where the edges meet. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so this is what the top of the eye looks like so far. I am extremely happy with this. I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my face. We'll come back and do the lower lash line. As you can see, I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used the Pat McGrath Divine Rose liquid lipstick on my lips. I love these. I think these are amazing. I used the gel cream eyeliner by ColourPop in the shade Loverboy. For bronzer, I used the Gucci bronzer in shade 2. Gucci did it right because typically, you know, I have a lot of bronzers that are the deepest shade that don't show up on my skin, and this is number 2 and it looks beautiful on the skin. I did the Moira blush in Tender Rose. My Pat McGrath blushes are gonna be here tomorrow, so I think Saturday's live, which you will see this tomorrow, will be all about the new Pat McGrath. And then highlight, I used the Divine Rose highlight. So I love it. I love it all. So I think I'm going to take, this is a BK Beauty 203, and we're gonna go into that shade Topping, which is that bubblegum pink color. And I'm just going to put that, oh, I need to raise my head some to look in the mirror. Gotta get used to this new setup, y'all. And we're gonna blend that out under the eyes. Uncle Fester. There we go. That looks good. Okay, so I think for inner corner, I think I'm gonna use the yellow. I don't know if it's going to look good, but we're gonna test it. So this is a rougher number 3 pencil brush, and we're gonna go into the shade Fresh. So it picks up nicely on the brush. I love that. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Yeah, that works pretty well as an inner corner. And I could have used the purpley pink one, but I'm like, I want to save that to do my pink look, you know, because I haven't done a monochromatic pink look in a while. But I do love how this came out. Okay. So this is the finished eye look. What do you think? I think it looks gorgeous. So we'll come back tomorrow and do another eye look, and I will tell you my thoughts on this palette. So I'm back to do another look with the Alien palette. So I'm gonna grab, this is a Sigma E40, and I'm gonna go into the shade Whip, which is that matte off-white shade, and I'm going to use that pretty much all over the lid and up to the brow bone. I'm gonna use that as the base kind of color for everything else to blend into, because I think I'm gonna make a little bit softer look today, but we're gonna make it with pinks because I am in the mood to wear some pink eyeshadow. I can't think of the last time I did a full-on monochromatic pink red look, so that's what we're going to go for. So as you can see, I just blended that all over the lid, all the way up to the brow bone. It just gives something to grab onto the eyeshadow base, because I did use the eyeshadow base that I always use. Now I'm gonna grab, this is a BK Beauty 202. This is like a tapered blending brush, which is one of my favorite brushes to work with. And I'm just, as you can see, I'm packing, not really packing, but blending that into the crease, but keeping it pretty much towards the outside. Because as I said, I want to make this a pretty soft and easy look. But I'm not trying to bring it too far in. And as you can see, I know you can see it, like I think the way that I have the camera and stuff set up now, you can see better of what I was talking about with not having like perfectly smooth eyelids. You know, because I want y'all to see what I work with. Because, you know, I don't use filters whenever I post pictures. I don't do a lot of edits. The most I typically do to a picture whenever I post it, like on Instagram, is I take it with my photo lights, the same thing, the video lights that I use now, and I take it in portrait mode. But it doesn't filter the skin or anything like that. But it blurs the background, and that's the only thing it's really made to do. Because I want to be able to show y'all, well, this is what works for me and this is why this works. So we've got that on. Now I need a tiny little blending brush. So this is the Spectrum B11, and I'm gonna go into the shade Juicy. Did I tell you I used Toppings? Toppings was the pink shade. So I'm gonna go into the shade Juicy, which is that burgundy. And we are going to keep that very much lower, but I'm going to build it up some, but I'm not gonna make it full on as dark as it looks in the pan, if that makes sense. So I'm just keeping that really tight in there, and I'm not bringing it high. So just kind of working with it just like this. This works really well the way that I like to do my makeup. So, what do you think so far? Okay, let me grab my 202 again just to make sure everything's blended. So I do want to take that 202 and I'm gonna add, you see I'm just bringing that topping shade, which is the lighter of the two pinks, just a little bit higher on the outside to bring that color up. There we go. There. Okay, I like that. Now I'm gonna go back in with Juicy one more time. But see, I'm tucking it into that crease. And as I've said a billion times, I do eyeshadow looks that work for my eyes because, you know, I wish I could be more adventurous, but things don't always work that way whenever you're, you know, you're getting close to 40. Can we put the glitter glue on the lid and not in my eyelashes? It'll be okay though. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to clean that out. It's okay though. So I'm just taking and patting in the glitter glue, cleaning off my lashes. Gonna do the same thing on both eyes. And this is one of the Sigma brushes. This is the medium sweeper. This is from one of their eyeshadow palettes. I think this is from the Enchanted palette. Sigma has good eye brushes in their palettes. So I'm gonna go into the shade Cherry on Top, which is the red. And we're going to pack the red, the deeper shimmer, towards the outside of the eye. So we're just using Cherry on Top towards the outside of the eye. I'm not gonna put this all over the lid though. Okay, gonna do that on both sides. There we go. That's a beautiful color. Okay, I'm gonna wipe that brush off, just a makeup wipe, and then I'm gonna go into the shade Ripe, which is that beautiful hot pink, or it's like the shimmer version of Topping, which is like the primary shade in this. So just going on, packing, and then I'm using the edge of the brush to make sure it's smooth. But as you can see, I'm not bringing it high. See how pretty that looks? So now I'm just gonna kind of pat over where I put Cherry on top to make sure those two colors blend together. There we go. I like how that looks. Okay. Now, there we go. See how pretty that looks? I really like this palette. This palette definitely screams summer to me. Summer, spring, you know, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so I like how the top of the eyes look. What do you think? I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my face. We'll come back and do the lower lash line and talk about my thoughts on this palette. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used the Pat McGrath lipstick in Divine Romance. I used Joyride, or no, Loverboy in my waterline from ColourPop. For blush, I mixed together Pink Moon and Soleil from Lunar Beauty. For bronzer, which you really can't even tell I'm wearing any bronzer, I used the Marc Jacobs Tantric bronzer. Now, just in case you're wondering, 50% off of all Marc Jacobs products at Sephora and on their website, because they are discontinuing Marc Jacobs Beauty, which makes me sad because I do love their highline crayons, like their eyeliners. So, and then from the Smoky Glow collab with Midas, I used the shade Slay as my highlight. So now we just gotta finish out the look. So I'm gonna grab, this is a BK Beauty 204, it's like a little smudger brush. And I'm gonna go into the shade Juicy, which is that darkest pink shade. And I'm going to put that all under my waterline, on the lower lash line. Because I want more color down low, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm going to grab that B11 from Spectrum, which is what I used up top, and I'm just going over and making sure the edges are blended. So I'm not really adding any additional product, just blending all that out. As you can see, these pink shadows really kind of make my green eyes stand out. So now I'm gonna take, this is a Rephr number 03. Touched an eyeshadow. And we're gonna go into that duochrome that's almost a lavender pink right here, which is Strawberry Shake. And we're gonna use this in our inner corner. That's a pretty color. There we go. And see, these Rephr little brushes, these pencil brushes with that little point on them, really makes it easy to get in there with the color. So, this is the completed look. What do you think? I think it looks pretty. So let's talk about my thoughts on this palette. So I love the color story. I think that the color story is absolutely phenomenal. The mattes worked beautifully. Now, the one thing I will say is the shimmers in this aren't what I'm used to from Alien. They're not that wet formula. They performed well, but they're not as metallic and as special as I like. I'm glad I have the palette, but if you are looking for more of this like super special formula, this palette doesn't have that, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's a bad palette. I still think it's beautiful. And for $35, I mean, look at this look. And yesterday's look was phenomenal. I think that it performs great. I just don't love the shimmers as much as I normally do from Alien. But I can't wait to see what else they come out with. Isn't the packaging? The packaging is so freaking cute. But I guess that's it. So we'll see y'all later. Bye.